You chose this song?
What?
Did somebody text us in or you did this?
No, someone texted it in.
Yeah, because they know the running joke.
I'm sorry, I'm out of the loop.
I can't stand Tracy Chapman's version of the song.
Well, this is Luke Combs.
I know. Oh, I know what the song's meaning is and all that stuff, but like I was thinking songs on the road, like you're driving in a car and everything, and you guys come out of the gate with this song. Oh God.
So that's why they also texted in a winky face.
Yes. Like, I'm sorry. I know again the story of the song. When I hear this, I want to drive into the wall. Okay. And if I can still hear it, I want to put it in reverse and drive back into the wall again. Oh, all right. It's funny. It's funny. Okay. The person who sent it in is funny, but I'm thinking, a little upbeat songs when you're driving on the road and everything. I've been on the road for 5 days. So, that's what I'm talking about. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, Mark. Oh, my bad. Let me get you up on the stream here. There we
Yeah.
go. There
Okay.
you go.
So please check out the show now available every day on our live stream, which if you go to our YouTube channel, go to YouTube, look up 96 on the Game Orlando, click on the icon and then the live button. Okay. So you got to click on the icon, the live button, and you'll normally be able to watch Chris and I, and you still can. But you have to see what we're putting up throughout the entire show instead of me in studio, since I'm on the road in Provo.
What? That's not you in studio? It looks like you.
And it will change every segment. So I'm not going to give anything away because I want to encourage people to go look at it.
Well, you just gave away the secret sauce.
Well, now I want people to go look and watch. So every segment, Chris is going to change what's in there. So I want people to go and look and see what's up there. By the way, the scroll, take the scroll off. The scroll says Tuck sitting in for me.
Yeah. It should say stick figure sitting in for you.
Oh, I didn't say that. See, you gave it away. Oh, so every segment will change what is in place of me. So hopefully you'll go and see that. And you can also watch Chris if you want to watch Chris. So even though I'm not in studio, you can still have some fun of the stream today. All right. So go to the YouTube channel and check it out. How you doing, Chris? You all right?
I'm good. I slept wrong last night. My neck is killing me. But it's all right. I'm here. I'm playing through the pain.
Like, can you move it or what?
It's stiff. I'm trying
to. Wait. Okay. Why?
What?
Hold on. I'm watching the stream, and let me tell you what Chris just did. He says, I slept wrong on my neck, so he has to put his hand up on his neck to kind of emphasize. Is that what you're doing?
It hurts. What do you want from me?
Like, you don't have to touch it.
It hurts.
Oh man. Did you hear my hiking story yesterday?
No, I did not catch it.
So I sent you pictures and videos.
Beautiful.
Hiking in Salt Lake City. Yeah, I sent you hiked on Saturday and Sunday, and just gorgeous. And Sunday, it was great because there was a ton of snow, but not as much ice and everything. So yesterday here in Provo, up on one of the mountains, and I'm literally looking at it right now from my room here, is the Y trail. There's a Y in the rock of one of the mountains, obviously for BYU.
Right.
And 2 years ago when we were here, I didn't go up. One, because there's too much snow. It was dangerous. And I'm afraid of heights. But the person, the group I was with yesterday, was like, come on, we can do it. And not as much snow in Provo as there is was in Salt Lake City. And I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go. And the base of the trail is already 5,100 feet up.
Whew.
Okay. And then you got to go up again. And so I start, and it's a steep incline going up, and then you're kind of zigzagging your way to get up to the Y. And I'm about, let's say 500, 600 feet up the incline. And I'm maybe 40% of that incline to get up to start the zigzagging. And Chris, I had an anxiety attack. I stopped, and my heart rate, because it's too narrow. The path is too narrow. In Salt Lake City, when I did Ensign Trail and then the other trail, it was a wider area to walk on. So I want you to picture like about 4 to 5 feet, but to my right, it drops like 2,000 feet. And I did not handle that well.
I can see that.
And first I had a legitimate cramp in my calf because of climbing the last couple of days. And then my heart rate just took off. And after like another 50 feet, I said to the person I was with, I said, hey, I got to go back down. And even the 500 to 600 feet back down, half of that I wasn't doing well. Got down, I knew my heart rate was way, 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 way up and everything. And then got back down, settled, and then there's a lower trail that kind of goes east to west as opposed to up. And did that for 4 miles out and back, and it was great, and still had great pictures, but had a little bit of the height thing yesterday came into play.
Ah,
But going back out later today because we don't play till 9 o'clock tonight,
whew.
so we're going to do a different trail today, not as high up, but more waterfall and kind of rock stuff like that. So take advantage when in Utah, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I
Um,
get again. I bet those like the pictures don't do it justice. Like I bet the scenery is absolutely gorgeous.
well, did I send you the video of the guy that I guess it's, well, what do you call it? Is it paragliding? Um, you jump off and like you're holding on to that like thing behind you that glides.
Yeah.
I got to send you the video because when we got to the base yesterday, that guy jumps off one of the peaks above the Y Rock, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, because he's got to climb up there, then put the glide together, and then goes jumping. And he was probably like over 7,000 feet up, and I'm like, nope, nope, nope,
Oh,
nope, nope, nope.
I'm
Yeah, but
no, you didn't send me that video. I'm just looking at the videos that you did send me, and again, man,
yeah,
just
oh, it's gorgeous,
beautiful.
Yeah. It's gorgeous, and particularly in Salt Lake, the temperature when we went out was like 40, 42 degrees, but it felt like 65 or 70 because it wasn't cold. And the one light jacket I had, you took off because it wasn't cold. So anyway, so I'm in Provo tonight. UCF plays BYU, an 11 o'clock Eastern start, 9 o'clock out here. Late for people out here. But the power of television. So we'll tip off at 11 tonight. Pregame is at 10:30. And the touchdown time tomorrow in Orlando is well into the morning. So it'll be a long night, long day tomorrow, but that's okay. It's all good. We got a lot of stuff to get to on the program today. Jason Siegel, a good friend of the Great Orlando Sports Commission, is going to join us. We're going to talk hockey. Talked to the show yesterday, and I'm thankful for Mike for sitting in yesterday doing the show. And Jason, of course, is a massive hockey background, and text me literally, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes after the Jack Hughes goal to remind me that Jack was born in Orlando. His dad was part of the Orlando Solar Bears team back then as an assistant coach. And Jason will share his perspective on what that meant as the celebration continues. Those guys partied in Miami yesterday. And we'll talk to Jason about that. A story that we've covered over the last few years that I know is important in Central Florida on the high school football front. We've lost a lot of good coaches who have moved on to different places, and the high school pay issue remains a big issue. There's an update on that and some opportunities now that maybe we're not going to lose many high school coaches. And we'll talk to someone that's been involved in that, as well as the Teddy Bridgewater Act, which was passed. Remember the Teddy Bridgewater story about him coming out of pocket to pay for players regarding transportation? And well, they've now voted the Teddy Bridgewater Act in. We'll explain what that is a little bit later in the program as well. We got On the Mark, Off the Mark coming up. But first, here's everybody's favorite segment.
It's almost like an unwritten rule that when you become a father, you become king of the bad dad jokes.
What is Forrest Gump's password? One Forrest one.
Are you ready to laugh? We know at least one person is. Here's CB's dad joke of the day.
Oh, that's
Before
so
Chris
great.
does his joke of the day, don't forget, get to the YouTube stream and see what's replaced me on the stream, and that will change every break. And why would you not want to see what's on it right now? Don't want to give it away, but I mean, we did give it away. I think that stick figure is fantastic. That needs to be
beautiful.
somewhat common when I'm out. So yeah. All right, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think stick figure might be the new staple of the show. Mark, I decided that I want a pet termite. I'm going to name him Clint. Clint Eastwood. Get it? Not Clint Eastwood, but Clint Eastwood.
Just wow. See, Beat of Sports Double Shot Tuesday. You kind of digging this music, Chris?
Not too bad.
Do you know this? Well, of course you know what it is. You're playing the song. Today's theme for Double Shot Tuesday is songs about being on the road, and 50857 on the text line. I do think the person who texted in Fast Car, that was pretty funny. So I appreciate that.
So he did respond, actually. He said, I honestly had no idea Mark hated Fast Car. I actually thought he'd be offended that I used the cover. Plot twist.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm not a big fan of, hey, here's a song. Can I just make you really, really depressed and sad? But that's okay. Be sure to check out the stream of the show on YouTube. Since I'm not in studio, every segment, Chris is posting a new picture of somebody. And we encourage you to go and see who it is. We did the stick figure last segment.
I think stick figure is going to be the best, honestly.
Really?
I do.
I don't know about that. Huh. So go check out the stream, and you can watch Chris, and you can see the picture that's sitting in my chair since I'm not in studio, since I'm out here in Provo, Utah. But check it out at the live stream at YouTube 96 on the Game Orlando.
Can I give you real quick a little bit of breaking news?
Yeah.
A little bit. Got some baseball news out of Atlanta. The Braves extend Chris Sale on a 1 year, or they give Chris Sale a 1 year, $27 million extension to keep the 2024 Cy Young winner in the ATL.
That is good news if you're a Braves fan.
As I am.
You are?
I am.
I want to pivot to football here for a second if I can.
Yeah.
And by the way, we have a UFL team coming to Orlando that's going to kick off the Orlando Storm. I've always said this about the spring leagues in the most recent years since they've come back. If you like watching those games, there's nothing wrong with that. I might tune in once in a while. I might see what's happening with the Orlando team. I believe that there's a place for these leagues. One, it fills content for the media partners. It's an opportunity for players to play. If it's not your thing, no big deal. But I do like when these leagues get creative when it comes to rules. And Chris, the UFL announcing this morning, 4 points for a field goal beyond 60 yards. Okay. Which I like. 1 foot in bounds is all you need. And they've eliminated the tush push and no punting inside the 50-yard line.
Okay. Don't like the 4 points for a field goal beyond 60 yards.
Okay.
I don't understand why we're going back to college rules with the 1 foot inbounds. But I do like the once you cross the 50, no punting. I do like that rule.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying the NFL needs to adopt any of these, but please understand this. The NFL, while they don't have a partnership with what's now the UFL and used to be the XFL, they do use these leagues as basically an experiment and to see what works and what doesn't work. So I'm not saying the NFL should adopt this. I'm just saying that I think it's pretty unique and that these leagues should continue to do stuff like this because I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, do you think it would make sense for the NFL to adopt a quote unquote like minor league system to try out, experimental rules to see what would work in the actual NFL game?
Yeah, it's called the UFL and they don't pay for it.
All right.
It's also called college football for player development, and they don't pay for it. There's no reason to. Look, I've always said the only way that a spring league could really generate a following is a model that doesn't exist. And quickly, 10 o'clock hour, WYGM Orlando, WJR, HD2 Cocoa Beach, meaning that all 32 teams have their own spring league. It's structured somewhat in the same way. And you sign players, and even after drafting players, some of those guys play, and your fans get a little bit of a following, and you promote your brand. But the NFL doesn't need it. Their owners don't need to spend the money. The TV revenue is not worth it to them because they're going to make billions on the media deal, basically coming up every 4 or 5 years. And there are others that are willing to pay the freight for development. It's called college football, and it's called these spring leagues. And I think you'll agree. These spring leagues do lead to players getting a chance to either go back to the NFL or to showcase themselves to get a chance to play in the NFL. And the examples of rules that have been used have translated that the NFL uses this to gather the data. You know, the XFL and UFL gave you the ability of hearing what happens during a replay and things like which the ACC adopted that other leagues are going to begin to adopt, not the NFL yet. So the NFL uses all this stuff. They just don't pay for it. And they don't need to pay for it. But I want to ask you about a couple of other things real quick. It's the combine that's getting underway, but the combine's become so much more than just what the combine had been known. It's truly a football convention. You've got free agent talk, you've got trades, you got all sorts of things. But quickly, in a couple of things, there appears to be no effort at all, Chris, to ban the tush push. Does that surprise you from where we were during the season?
It does, because we had talked about the amount of missed calls that were like, all right, you know what? It's not good for the game. The refs said they were going to call it more closely, yet they're still blatantly missing calls. They got traction last year, and given the way last year went with the tush push, it almost seemed like a lock for them to ban it, and now it's just kind of died. And I'm wondering if it's because the success rate of the play is going down.
I don't know. I thought about that yesterday when I just made a note to talk about it, because I remember us doing shows, and all of their shows is like, no, got to ban it. This is it. They're going to change the rule. And NFL people or talking heads on TV and former players and coaches, they're going to change the rule. And it's like the squirrel effect, out of sight, out of mind, or something over here distracts us, because where did that energy go of NFL people that were like, no, the owner's going to have to really review this and, think about a way to get rid of it. And Rich McKay, who's the dean of the competition committee, is like, nope, there's no movement at all.
Well, now everyone, like you said, I guess we found the new shiny thing to focus on, and it is, what is a catch? We're going back to that again.
Yeah, I was surprised. And then I think Mike Florio had a story that there was a small little whisper or a discussion about playoff seeding, and now that may be tabled until the league does move to an 18th game, and you got to get through the new TV deal and the Players Association. That when we get to an 18th game, and they may look at playoff seeding that doesn't guarantee a division champion a home game. There doesn't seem to be much traction for that now. And I don't know if the NFL is going to get, I guess, what will be viewed as radical, but it is funny in the NBA. We have just done away with divisions. I mean, the Magic are in first place in the Southeast Division, but it means nothing anymore. So they've done away with the division, a seeding model. I don't know if the NFL will ever do that. Do you? Where you just say, okay, for scheduling, we have divisions. Okay. So you're still going to play 6 division games, but even if you win a division, it doesn't guarantee a home game. And should playoff seeding just be based on overall records in a conference? And if you're going to take 7 teams in each conference, just say, hey, it's the top 7 teams.
It's not every year we're going to have a 14-win team finish second in the division and not host a playoff game. It's not every year we're going to have a team with a losing record host a playoff game.
Okay, but we are having, and I don't have the data in front, I guess I should have done this. We are having teams that have won 2 or 3 games more than somebody else, somewhat consistently going on the road to play a playoff game, while that team that has 3 fewer wins is hosting a game. And are we still okay with that? And I'll give the NFL credit, because there still is an emphasis on division titles. For the NBA, we just put up the soccer equivalent of a table that says we're just taking now 10 because of the play-in, regardless of your division.
I'm fine with the way the NFL playoffs are right now. I don't think there's a need to change it. Again, it's not every year we're going to have a Minnesota Vikings team finish second in the division and have to go on the road to play a wild card game, which, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, they were eliminated in the first round.
Okay.
It's not every year that.
All right. Well, when the Giants win 15 and the Cowboys win 13, you have to go on the road. Don't come complaining to me.
I'm
okay?
surprised you're giving the Cowboys 13 wins.
I'm just saying in a crazy example. I mean, the 15 is not crazy. It's a 13 for your team. That just becomes idiotic. Can I ask you one other football? And I'm actually stealing this from somebody that brought this up. Excuse me, in a discussion about quarterbacks, because at the combine, quarterbacks are always the position everybody focuses on. But there's so much talk about what's going to happen in the quarterback market in the NFL. I'm going to give you a scenario, Chris, and it won't happen, but you're the Miami Dolphins, okay? And the Tua thing, and the Dolphins, by the way, just added to their front office the former GM who was in Tennessee when they drafted Malik Willis. So people want to connect dots again about the Packer connection and the guy who drafted Willis and Miami. And yet more people say from a dollar standpoint, it just doesn't make sense for Miami. If you were the Dolphins and Tua's salary this year was $1, would you play him at quarterback?
If Tua's salary was $1?
$1. And before you answer that, it's based on the football product that you have. The football product that finished last season, the football product over the period of years that he's been there. If he was going to cost you $1, would you play him at quarterback?
Why not?
I'm just saying, has he reached a point with his performance that you've decided to move on? And that even if he cost you $1, you'd say, hey, we got to move on because we're done with the player and the product of play.
If he's costing me $1, I would throw him out there because he is better than Quinn Ewers. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it's not like he's been god awful in his career. Yes, the Dolphins don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. Yes, Jalen Waddle probably won't be there anymore, depending on what the Dolphins are trying to do draft-wise and, with their salary cap. But it's not like Tua's been god-awful. It's not like he's been bad. He's been decent.
No, but and I understand the answer to your question, but I guess, and maybe I didn't explain it enough, and your answer still may be the same. If your front office and your coach just feels like it's in the best interest of us moving on, but we can't move on because of his salary, so we got to keep him, would you play him for football reasons? Because if you don't think he's going to be your quarterback for years to come, why would you play him, even if he was going to cost you $1? Yeah, that's the interesting question.
I mean,
yeah, because listen, do you think they have any interest in playing him as a starter for the season?
No.
Then that's kind of it's not a trick question. It's kind of the question, like, even if he was $1, would you still say we're going to go in a different direction?
But that's the thing, though. He's not $1. And I've said this, I think the Dolphins do keep him on the roster this year just because that $99 million dead cap hit is not something they can take on. I don't think he plays, but they're not moving off of him right now. And that's why I also don't think Malik Willis is coming to Miami.
Right now, it appears like he can make a lot of money, so I'm not quite sure that happens either for him. So, yeah. Our good friend Jason Siegel of the Great Atlanta Sports Commission is going to join us a little bit to talk some hockey. That's Jason's background. He's worked on the NHL for many, many years, and he and I were texting on Sunday during the gold medal game, and I wanted to get his perspective on it as we celebrate, which, by the way, do you know what 46 years ago today was, Chris?
That was the
was the goal. No. The miracle was on Sunday. The date. Today's when the Americans won the gold medal. So many people go, oh, yeah, they won the gold medal beating the Soviets. No, they beat the Soviets in the semifinals. They beat Finland on the Sunday morning, the final day of the Olympics, to win the gold. And back then, the format was different. There was no bronze medal game. Had the Americans lost to Finland, there's a good chance they wouldn't have medaled in 1980. And this is 46 years to the date of when they did win and clinch the gold. A lot of people say, oh, no, they beat us. No, that was not the gold medal game. We'll get to Jason in about 25 minutes. It's a story that I've talked about for years. We've watched a lot of good football coaches and even other sports in high school sports in Orlando go elsewhere because the money is just not there compared to other states. The stipend is small, and there's been an effort to try to change that. Are we a step closer to seeing football coaches in the state of Florida be compensated a little bit more? We'll talk to someone from behind that cause next. Double Shot Tuesday theme today. Since I've been on the road for 5 days, these are songs about being on the road. Little jet airliner, Steve Miller Band. See, this is up tempo, Chris. This is energetic, not fast car. Yeah. Also, check out the stream of the show on our YouTube channel, 96 on the Game Orlando. Click on the icon, the live button. Even though I'm not in studio, see what picture we put up every segment. It changes, and the OG picture's up there right now.
Yep. Can't stop him.
So, not telling you what we're posting, but that's to suck you in to go click on the stream. And as somebody, well, this is boring. No kidding. It's a picture. I'm not in studio. Of course it's going to be boring, but it's still funny. Okay. Have a sense of humor. Check out the picture for this segment. It changes every segment. For the last several years, it's a story that I think deserves attention. We're proud in our state of high school football, and I think it holds up against anybody in the country with Texas and California and any other state, and yet we have lost really good coaches that have chosen to go elsewhere because of the pay, where you can go to Texas and you can make 6 figures as a coach. You can go to Georgia and make a nice living. In Florida, there's a small stipend that our coaches get, and they've made decisions that you can understand to go elsewhere because of pay. There's been an effort to try to change that in a state that is challenged when it comes to finding resources and finances to pay coaches, not just in football. Andrew Ramjet has been kind of joined us before and does a great job in helping coaches across the state. Andrew and his team oversee the Florida Coaches Coalition, and he's here to chat with us and update us on some things. Andrew, welcome back. How are you?
Hey, I am doing wonderful. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Let me start here. Can you share what Senate Bill 538 is and what is the latest on that?
So Senate Bill 538, it made it through the state Senate last week. It was last Thursday that they voted on it, and it was unanimous, 38-0, to advance the bill forward. So all that remains now is the companion House Bill 731. And it's hard to keep track of these things because you have your Senate bill, your House bills, but they're companion bills. So they have to pass both of their respective bodies before it goes off to the governor for a signature. So we're one vote away before this gets presented in front of the governor. And what's great about these bills, Senate Bill 538 and Senate Bill 538 and House Bill 7, is they allow for 3 things. Here are the 3 big things. One, booster clubs will start paying and anyone extra on a high school campus. So that's massive. That's what do it in Georgia. Number 2, the athletic directors, coaches.
Chris, do me a favor. Chris,
schools.
do me a favor. If we can, let's get Andrew back on because his phone line's going out, and he just made some key points about what the bill is. So, Chris, let's get a better phone line for Andrew if we can. And while Chris works on that, I'm going to kind of speak a little bit. Basically, with the Senate bill, it's going to allow school boards to set up situations where coaches can be paid. You're going to talk about booster clubs and then additional funds. And as I understand this, is going to be up to each school board district to make a decision on that. It's not across the state, but there has now been an effort to recognize that, hey, maybe we allow the school boards to get involved in doing this. And again, we've lost coaches in our state, not just in Orlando, but around the area. And down south. Okay, Andrew, I think we got a better phone line that's back there. You're about to explain what the bill does. You're talking about booster clubs, so I'm going to ask you to pick it up there because your phone line was going in and out. So booster clubs now can do what?
Yeah, so sorry about that. That's what I get for getting T-Mobile out here in Central Florida. So booster clubs now will be able to pay coaches just the same way they do it in Texas, the same way they do it in Georgia. The only thing, it has to be approved by the school district. So you'll have some school districts here in Florida that will be happy about this. And then you'll have some school districts, it's usually your larger school districts that are a little more hesitant and probably will wait a few years to see how those smaller school districts implement this. So that's number 1. Number 2, your athletic directors and coaches at the high school level can petition a superintendent to be classified as an administrator. That's huge. Why? Because many of your football coaches here in Florida, they're teaching a full load of classes, 7 classes a day, and then going straight into coaching. So these guys are working just obscene hours. on a daily basis. And the third and biggest thing I think for this bill that will really put Florida ahead of those other states is there is no cap on the amount of funds that a booster club can pay a coach. So that is massive. And I know we always see those graphics of the top 100 paid coaches in Georgia, top 100 paid in Texas. If you give it a few years, you'll see Florida, especially being a tax-free state, being much more ahead of those other states there.
Andrew, there's good and maybe some challenging things, as you said. There are some coaches that, and coaches, some of these guys aren't asking for $100,000. I mean, they might be asking for a few $1,000s, but there are going to be a lot of school districts that you said that just can't afford this. And the fear is that they're going to continue to lose coaches. I don't know what the resolution to that is, but I'm sure you've heard from some coaches that say, hey, I'm not going to get anything if I stay here.
Yep. And the great thing about this bill is there is no money being mandated on any of these school districts. Everyone knows that school districts, the attendance is dwindling. You have the voucher program and you have students leaving the public school system. That's why putting this in the hands of a community, your booster club, your support organizations, that does not intertwine in any way with any kind of school district money, because your booster clubs are separate entities, right? They file their own taxes, have their own EINs. So it's going to be the booster clubs that are going to be able to really compensate the coaches and the communities, especially in some of these smaller communities across the state that solely rely on high school football on Friday nights. Like if they want to make sure that they keep their coach in that position, they're going to have to start chipping in and making sure that that coach is compensated.
Angel, let me ask you, okay, so the Senate's done this. What's the timeline on the House, and when do you think we might see progress where it gets through the House and then to the governor's desk?
Well, it's on the docket for tomorrow, so we should find out tomorrow unless somehow it gets pushed back. Because of the bill number 731, you have quite a few bills in front of it. So hopefully, nothing runs long tomorrow, and we should know by tomorrow around 5 p.m. where we are and whether or not the governor will be able to sign this. And once it does pass the House, Governor DeSantis can sign this immediately. However, I'm sure there's a process there, and but once it passes the House, Governor DeSantis has given all assurances that this is something that he wants to see. So there's no doubt in my mind that it will be signed within the next 7 days once it does pass.
I think you would agree, as I believe, that the overwhelming majority of coaches in our state try to follow the rules and do the right things. And Teddy Bridgewater got a lot of attention because he's Teddy Bridgewater. And while there's still some things that may have happened that others don't know about, Teddy's story about going in pocket to help kids with Uber rides and food and so forth, he's not the first and only coach and won't be the last. But there is a Teddy Bridgewater Act. Can you share with our audience what the Teddy Bridgewater Act is that now says, hey, if you're a coach and you want to do good to help kids, you can do that?
Yeah, exactly. And what that bill actually does, the Teddy Bridgewater Act, it was sponsored by Shervin Jones, a Democratic senator out of Miami-Dade County. What that bill does, it allows for coaches to help provide what are seen as benefits to student athletes in the amount of $15,000. It cannot exceed $15,000. That's to help provide certain things such as food, rides home, maybe if a student needs to attend some kind of external training but doesn't have the funds, the coach could pay for it. So it's been very well received across the state, but I think within the coaching community as a whole, it looks to be a road down, a territory coaches do not want to get into, simply because of the fact of two things. One, when do these benefits, like when does it go overboard and when does it become impermissible? That's one thing that's not clarified. And two, there's 99.9% of the head coaches here in Florida, they don't have an extra $15,000 to really spend on their student athletes. So those coaches that are coming directly from the league and stepping in coaching, they'll actually have a step ahead of your normal high school coaches that are also teachers teaching a full load of classes every day.
Let me end with this. And again, Andrew Ramsey is with us and heads up the Florida Coaches Coalition. I'm going to give you a few minutes to promote, which is not open to the public, but a great event you guys are doing at the Weston and Lake Mary. It's the coaching clinic. You guys have every college coach coming here. You got top assistant coaches. And as we watch the number of high school scholarship offers be reduced in this transfer portal world, I think it's awesome that these coaches are coming here to talk to high school coaches. I hope that the message is that we're still out there recruiting players and opportunities are going to be there. So just share with our audience who's coming to this incredible event that you guys are doing.
No, I appreciate that. And yeah, it is the Coach of the Year clinic that we're going to be having at the Weston Lake Mary this Thursday, the 26th, to Saturday, the 28th. And like you said, we have every single FBS program in the state, UF, Florida State, UCF, USF, FAU, FIU, FAMU is out there. I know I forgot one there, but what's amazing is not just your head coaches, it's the staffs that are coming out there as well. So they understand the importance now with legislation being passed in Florida. They want to make sure that they strengthen their ties to high school coaches. So these clinics are a great time for our high school coaches to get out and really network with these college programs and build those relationships that hopefully will now be more long-term because we'll be having more coaches staying here in Florida. We also have Dabo Sweeney. Clemson is going to be there. Jason Taylor, Chris Carter. Those guys are now on their coaching staff. They're going to actually be out there. So it's a great opportunity. Right now we have over 700 coaches registered across the state, expecting quite a bit more. And it's just going to be a great event, a great opportunity for coaches to network, a great opportunity for coaches to learn from the best. And I think it's a great opportunity here, again, just to reintroduce and build on the relationship between our college coaches and high school coaches. So coaches, if you're not registered, you can go on the Coach of the Year Clinic website and register for the clinic that kicks off on Thursday.
Awesome event, and congrats on the great group that you got coming. Andrew, we'll follow the story. Always appreciate the update. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Andrew Ramjet, Florida Coaches Coalition, the effort to get some compensation for our coaches and their clinic is, I mean, every coach in the state is going to be there with their staff. That's great. Our good friend Jason Siegel with the patriotic memories of what we watch as the Olympic hockey celebration continues. He'll join us next. Double Shot Tuesday theme today, since I'm on the road and been on the road for 5 days. Songs about being on the road, like Willie Nelson right here. Since I'm not in studio, the stream is still up. You can go, and right now in my seat, Chris is posting a different picture every segment. So go see what the picture is. Oh, I didn't see it. What is this one? Oh,
Yeah.
I love that one. I love that one. Check out the picture up in my seat inside the studio right now. Go to the stream at 96.9 The Game Orlando on YouTube and click it on.
If you had to pick real quick, 1, 2, 3, or 4, which of those represents you the most so far?
DOG, Bugs, sarcastic, I mean, it's all about me. But check out the stream right now. Yeah. The celebration for the U.S. hockey team continues. They partied in South Beach, and rightfully so. And Sunday morning, I was like millions across the country. I was in a hotel room, and I got up at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning, Utah time, because I wasn't going to miss any of the hockey action. My good friend Jason Siegel, where hockey's in his blood, like me, was sitting on pins and needles when this happened.
And it's Werenski. Now Jack Hughes puts it around the car. United States with numbers. Back across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States. For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the gold. Jack Hughes beating Jordan Bennington.
And he was actually texting with Kenny Albert this morning. Jason Siegel joins us. Where were you when the play happened? Were you on the edge of your seat? Are you standing? Describe what you're doing.
I was edge of my seat for the last minute of regulation, and then with my son Ryder, and then standing and pacing as the seconds ticked off to start overtime, and then standing, and then the phone went crazy, of course, as soon as Jack Hughes buried that goal. That was exciting. I got goosebumps again, chills listening to Kenny, who is just the gold standard now. I mean, to have Kenny call in that goal, and he's been a friend since 1990. That was pretty neat.
Everybody has a different perspective of that moment because of your hockey background, working in the sport. Give me your view of watching the U.S. team win. I said this, and you can agree or disagree. The Canadian team is the greatest collection of talent on a team ever. I think that team would blow away the 80s Soviet team. And the background of all these guys. So give me your hockey history perspective of what you watched on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. I texted to one of my friends who's got a background with USA Hockey, and I said, this is crazy. 3-on-3. They have Nathan McKinnon. They have Connor, they have McDavid. They have Celebrini. They have absolute snipers. But you just never know. Hockey, especially 3-on-3, is going to be, odd man rushes back and forth. And it was an incredible victory for sure. For me, I mean, I go back. I mean, my first love was, I remember watching, way back, Eruzione and that team. And we've had the great privilege of, I helped promote the Miracle movie when I was with the New Jersey Devils. So we got to meet a lot of the guys. I met Eruzione at a charity event in 95 or 96 in Phoenix. So, getting to know them over the years. David Christian and a couple of his teammates were here for a celebrity event we did with the Orlando Solar Bears. That to me just sparked my love of hockey growing up in Philadelphia. So, to have 46 years go by and so many close calls, the goal on Ryan Miller a few years ago, and certainly the dominance of this Canadian team. And you're right, but hockey's a team sport. So you can have the most talent. And what they didn't have was Connor Hellebuck, who stood on his head. I still can't figure out how that goal doesn't go in off his paddle there. I thought for sure, I'm like, I think I even turned my back on the TV. I'm like, down 2-1. and somehow it just slid, just past the goalpost there. But it was awesome. That was awesome. Great for our community. I mean, and on the heels of, Friday, we had a Orlando City kicked off with a luncheon, and the women had won the night before. So I wore my USA jersey to the soccer celebration to celebrate and honor the women's team who, how about that? I mean, over back to back to beat Canada in on the women's side, the men's side, in overtime on both. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Every day you and your team do things to try to bring big events to Orlando. You understand the international game. I said this and I want your perspective. The hockey rivalry with Canada is different. And of all of our national teams, and I mean no disrespect to the U.S. women's hockey team, to the U.S. women's soccer team, which is played at the elite level and has been the dominant team, it's just different because it is in a sports sense, a bitter rivalry with Canada. The jawing back and forth just makes it different. If we ever get the men's World Cup, and this is the one to go deep to a semifinal or final, you'll feel the rush of patriotism. But I just think this is unique because Canada and the U.S. have delivered with just in the last calendar year of four nations, and now this, it makes it, to me, the most special national team right now.
It's interesting just that they're outbidding for cities for the four nations. They obviously, if anybody who followed it and watched it, it was absolutely riveting, and they did a great job putting that tournament on. And there was, a line brawl, 5-on-5, fight between the Canadian team and the U.S. team. So, yeah, listen, I think that I hope Gary Bettman or whoever, is the next commissioner we never see another Winter Olympics without NHL players playing in the Olympics. I think it's clearly raised the profile. For the women, you now have the Professional Women's Hockey League players playing in the tournament. So I just loved the idea that in 1980, and then even in future years, I remember a post in like 2011 where they said that USA Hockey, which is based in Colorado Springs, our good friend Pat Kelleher has been at the lead there for a long time, and I remember them celebrating that they had registered 100,000 kids in the U.S. Under the U.S. hockey program. And there was a post that said, look out, you won't believe how much talent there's going to be in 2026 when these 6, 7, 8-year-olds grow up. And who knew it was going to be, Jack Hughes and his brother and so many of these others. But it's pretty neat. And then the tie to Orlando is just incredible with Jack's father, Jim.
For those that don't know, please share, because Jack was born in Orlando, and you know his dad, Jim, well from the Solar Bears days.
Yeah, actually, I know Jimmy, his father. He was an assistant coach here with the Solar Bears. They were owned by the BOS family in the 90s. When Joe Haleski and I purchased the franchise in 2011 to bring the Solar Bears back, we had an affiliation that first year with the Minnesota Wild, and we were starting to have some other conversations. And one of those conversations was with Jimmy Hughes and Claude Glazell and Brendan Shanahan and the Toronto Maple Leafs team. And sure enough, that's Jack and Quinn's father, Jim Hughes, that we were working with in Toronto at the time. So there was already a conversation because Jimmy had coached here in Orlando. The boys were born here. There's a third son, Luke. Their mom, Ellen, who played at UNH and has, was part of the gold medal winning women's team this last week. It's unbelievable. And for Kenny to then, at the end shout out, that the Hughes boys were born in Orlando. I think the Magic posted a picture of the boys in the Turner Cup, which the Solar Bears won back in 2001. My phone just started blowing up all over again with the reference to Orlando. So, great on, the DeVos family and all the folks at the Magic back then that they were working. I think George Galante was their PR director way back in the day in the IHL, who of course is with Joel Glass and the Magic. So really neat to have all that celebration, but also a little bit of focus on Orlando.
Kurt Frazier, the largest hands a human being's ever had. Let me pivot to this. The 3-on-3 complaints of Canada. I said this yesterday. John Cooper's a Hall of Famer. I have incredible respect for him. Jealous because of Tampa's success versus the Rangers. He is a big reason that hockey has grown in our state. The whining, though, is come on, stop it. They have the same rules as we did. They advance on a 3-on-3 here. We do it in the NHL. Everybody the same rules. If you don't want it in the Olympics, he certainly has a powerful enough voice to say, guys, let's make this a change. But don't come back with the 3-on-3 stuff now and tell me that it's not real hockey. We know what the rules were. This is the rules. They could have won playing 3-on-3 as well.
Yeah, and I having watched John coach all these years, it probably, my sense is he wanted to deflect and take some attention away from his players who, had a tough go. And I think that sometimes he'll do those things to deflect and take the attention away from, a guy like McDavid, who's, lost in the Stanley Cup Finals and, probably is feeling, pretty lousy to not help deliver gold for Canada. So my guess is that maybe John was doing a little bit of that.
Do you agree on the 3-on-3 though? I love it. I love it.
Love it. I love it. I love it. It's exciting. I mean, and I think for the folks that watched the intensity level of the third period, 3-on-3, you're getting a result in that first overtime. There's no way you're playing 3-on-3 for that long without getting a result. Keep the energy going. Listen, I love the result, and I would have been fine either way. But if you're talking about 3-on-3, I wouldn't have been happy if we'd have lost. But as it relates to whether you play 3-on-3 or not, it's okay. I mean, the game has evolved and changed. This is just part of the evolution.
Let me end with this. People wonder what it does to U.S. hockey. I was talking to somebody the other day. I said, U.S. hockey is in incredible shape. We have so many amazing American players playing in the NHL. College hockey is the strongest it's ever been, but you know this better. I don't know what the next huge thing. In all due respect, Canada is always going to hold hockey to the way we hold football. So we're not about to surpass that. But what comes out of this for the next generation of young players, as Mike Tirico eloquently stated at the end of the Olympic coverage. So what do you think comes out of this?
Dreams of 7- and 8-year-olds. I mean, every little girl, every little boy that either hasn't had a chance to pick up a hockey stick or, go out and skate may do that for the very first time. And then the ones that are, deciding between ice hockey and lacrosse and playing, a different sport, whether it's girls or boys, maybe this changes their mind and they start thinking more about, what hockey program, they're going to play in juniors and what college they're going to go to. This is generational equity. I think this is, again, helps grow the sport. I love every minute of it. And it's neat now, certainly to watch the guys that I grew up watching or working with. And now I'm seeing their kids playing in the NHL or in the women's league. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. I think, generationally, this just carries forth everything that we love about the sport here in the U.S. for decades to come.
Promise the last two ones here. What does this mean to Canadian fans? The way that it played out, they thought this was the ultimate dream team. They were expecting a blowout win, and to lose the way they did. And then the follow-up before you go is the top two names that text you that you're like, whoa, I got a text from this person on Sunday.
I think that the rivalry has never been stronger, more intense. You got to love that, so many of the guys that play will go back and be teammates in the same locker room. So I think there's a mutual level of respect. And, obviously they're going to go, battle for a Stanley Cup in the same locker room with, not just the Canadians who played in the Olympics, but so many of the other nations that played. So my sense is, I think for Canada, it stays business as usual. They develop elite talent. They always have. And I just think that, the more that they, continue to replay Jack Hughes' goal and that Hellebuck save, the more exciting it's going to get for the French Alps Winter Olympics in 2030. So that is going to be great. And oh, by the way, in 2034, right back here on U.S. soil in Salt Lake City. So two really great Olympic Games that are teed up over the next 8 years.
By the way, I saw the banner in Salt Lake City for 2034. When I was there for a couple of days, the banner's all up all over the place, so they're prepared for that. Okay, biggest names that you got a text of on Sunday?
I think hearing from Kenny Albert, who's been a friend, and I had the privilege. I worked with Doc Emmerich for a lot of years in New Jersey, and to see the torch being passed from Doc to Kenny, that was awesome. And he's such a great guy. I mean, I think Kenny's still playing a little bit of men's hockey and Chelsea Pier every once in a while, and we have a lot of mutual friends. And if there's anybody I can talk about like Baltimore skipjacks minor league hockey with, Kenny, before he went to the Capitals and then the Rangers, and now he's a national broadcaster. He was the minor league voice of the Washington Capitals with the Baltimore Skipjacks. I think 90, 91, somewhere in there. But that was fun to hear from the guy who had just called the golden goal. That was awesome.
Good stuff. Thank you, Jason. Always appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you. Good luck tonight. Go Knights.
Thank you, man. All right. Appreciate it. Jason Siegel is the CEO, president of the Greater Orlando Sports Commission, but a massive hockey background. And Chris, literally, before he called you, Jason was confirming with me on a text, and he goes, "Hey, I'm texting with Kenny Albert right now, still making his way back from the Olympic Games." Name dropper, but
wow,
he can do that with that, pretty good. Just great stuff, man. Just awesome stuff. And I mean, the U.S. goalie puts on a uniform for the Winnipeg Jets in the next couple of days. So you talk about interesting, awkward moments and just great memories. And they'll last a long time with that hockey match on Sunday. 11 o'clock hour coming up. Includes On the Mark, Off the Mark. I am in Provo, Utah. UCF tonight plays BYU, an 11 o'clock Eastern start, 9 o'clock out here. So our coverage begins at 10:30. Magic and Lakers on the beat tonight for their game that tips off at 10:30. But we kick off the 11 o'clock hour with the news coming up. Don't forget, check out the stream on YouTube right now. I'm not in studio, but every segment, Chris is putting up a new picture. See who the picture is. Chris, we have a prize. Maybe we'll reward somebody if they can guess, like, the character of a picture we're putting up.
We do. We have some Earth Day birthday tickets to give away. If you want to do that after the news.
Okay, so go to the YouTube stream and see the picture that's up there. Then you'll have an idea about the character to guess, and maybe somebody can guess who it is to win the tickets. Not now, because that character is going to change. So let Chris change it. We'll do the news, and then we'll give somebody a chance to win some prizes. So go to our YouTube stream, 96 on the Game Orlando on YouTube. Click on the 96 on the Game icon, and then the live button, and that gets you to the stream. And you can watch Chris. You can also see just a picture of the chair that I normally sit in, but Chris has put a picture up in place of the chair. The hour kicks off with the news next.
This segment is presented by Bowegan's Beer Company.
Let's really do the news.
Yes.
Now it is time to do the news.
But now it's time for the news.
11 o'clock hour, WYJ Orlando, WJR HD2 Cocoa Beach, Orlando Sports Leader, Marc Daniels of Beach Sports, Chris Vasquez in our studios. I'm out in Provo, Utah. Tonight, UCF takes on 19th ranked BYU, 11 o'clock Eastern start. Pregame begins at 10:30. Elsewhere, NBA basketball. Last night, two of the better teams of the NBA saw the Spurs beat the Pistons 114-103. Magic wrap up a four-game West Coast road trip against the Lakers tonight. 104.5 the beat for that coverage, beating at 10:30. Tip is set for 11 o'clock. Baseball news, the Braves have signed Chris Sale to a one-year deal worth $27 million. Braves also announced their new TV deal. One of the few teams that are losing sports regional networks that could actually find stations across the Southeast, because the Braves brand, they rolled that package out today. You can buy the monthly stream, or they gave you a whole bunch of stations across the Southeast that are going to carry Atlanta Braves games. The update, by the way, on the regional sports networks mess is that it looks as if Bally's will hang on for the rest of the regular season for the Magic. But after that, do not expect that channel to still be on, and prepare to access Magic basketball in a different way next season. Chris will love it because, Chris, you can do another monthly package to get another streaming.
Why not? Just take more of my money. I haven't gotten enough already. Jesus.
Orlando City Soccer is trying to get Antoine Griezmann to agree to a deal that would allow the Atletico Madrid, a star player and really been a international elite player playing in World Cups for his country. He's at Atletico Madrid. Orlando City's trying to get this deal done before the March 26th deadline of that transfer period. That's not exactly when he wants to go. He's open to coming to MLS. Miami thought they were going to have a deal. They don't have a spot for him as a designated player, not going to get into it. But basically, Orlando City could pay him whatever they want and not count towards, in essence, their salary cap. MLS is really complicated when it comes to how the salaries work. So they'll have to get a deal done. He's open to coming here. The problem is Orlando City wants him now, yesterday, today, tomorrow. Pushing to get something done by March. That's not ideal for him. Atletico Madrid is in the Champions League, which has just reached the knockout phase. They would like him to stay and finish. He wants to stay and finish, but that may not happen. So that's interesting. It would be a significant move in signing for Orlando City if Antoine Griezmann could come and play for them. NFL Combine, which Chris is following. No one likes hand measurements more than Chris does. Right, Chris?
Hand measurements, bench press, Wonderlic test.
We don't do that anymore.
We don't do the Wonderlic?
No. Falcon GM Ian Cunningham says Kirk Cousins is going to be released on March 11th. That's the first day of the new league year. What's the market for Kirk Cousins?
Real quick, they are designating him as a post-June 1 cut.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe Minnesota looks to bring him back.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about that, or at least maybe off there we mentioned that. Nick Sirianni says that there's no guarantee A.J. Brown will be back.
That's going to be interesting to see where he goes and what Philadelphia could get for him.
Yes. Here's a question. Does he want to be back?
I don't think so. As long as Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, I don't think he wants to be back.
Let's see what else we have for you. The Combine, again, the player workouts and all that stuff continues to be a lot of NFL news coming. The daily audience for the Olympics, 23.5 million, represents a 96% increase of the 2022 games in Beijing. The time difference was a big factor in Beijing, but there were interest in these Olympic Games. Date is set for Pacquiao and Mayweather 2 this coming September in Las Vegas. I said to Kelly earlier, the only reason why this thing, if you want to call it a fight, is because Netflix is going to stream it. 5 years ago, nobody would have paid for this. But if they give Mayweather, and I may be way off, it's $20 million and Pacquiao $10 million, and both apparently need the money, that's nothing to Netflix. The attention they'll get, the promotion, It's nothing to them. And I'd like to think I have no interest in a fight of guys that are in their upper 40s and probably shouldn't even be sanctioned, but it's all about money, no question. It's all about the money. What else do we have here for you? I mentioned to Chris, for those that, and we had Jason Siegel on talking about Olympic hockey. Today, 46 years ago today, is when the Americans won gold. So many people get this wrong. When they beat the Soviet Union, it was not the gold medal match. It was a semifinal match. It was 2 days later, which happens to be on this particular date, 46 years ago. The U.S. beat Finland 4-2, a game which they were trailing like every other game. And they were not guaranteed a medal. The format used back then, a loss to Finland could have resulted in the U.S. finishing fourth. But they did win 4-2 and got the gold medal. Again, they were down 2-1 in that game. The U.S. hockey team celebrated in South Beach, and now players off back to their team. Some guys are not going to play in the first game, maybe even two back, but the NHL does resume its schedule on Wednesday, tomorrow. And you got a U.S. goalie who's going to put on a Winnipeg Jets jersey, and that's the beauty of what I guess this all is. Mentioned Magic and Lakers tonight. Knicks and Cavaliers also play tonight among the action. Like I said, UCF and BYU. AJ DeBonsta, I see in person. He leads the nation in scoring, averaging 24.9 points a game. Chris, the crowd tonight, 18,200. BYU sells out every game. It will be loud and a great game day environment. Late start, though.
Late start, but at least they get to see their star player.
Me? Oh, DeBonsta play. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the hike I was on yesterday, came across a couple of people that saw our UCF gear and stopped, and we're talking a little bit, and they were like, "Oh, I'm glad you guys beat Utah. Can't stand Utah." And one guy said, he and his friend, he goes, "We go to Jazz games because they're cheaper than BYU games." I said, "Really?" He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "It's the most expensive ticket you can have." So, like I said, got to pay players, got to raise the ticket prices, right?
Well, when your team's actively, when your professional team's also actively tanking, I mean, you got to lower prices to get people in the doors. No,
I don't think they lowered prices. And actually, and I mentioned this with Kelly, those two guys who are hardcore basketball fans, they had no problem with the Jazz. They said, "Hey, in the NBA, you don't want to be in the middle," so they're okay with it, and they think the future's really bright. I'm not saying they represent all Jazz fans, but you kind of wonder outside of Utah, the perception of the Jazz, what they're doing. At least these guys, they love Will Hardy, the coach. They love the owner, who owns the hockey team as well. And they said, "Listen, if you're not among the elite, you got to do what they're doing." And they, just two people, they didn't have a problem with it, which I thought was kind of interesting. Talk a little hoops with them. All right, we'll do on the mark, off the mark coming up in about 25 minutes. When I come back, though, a couple things that I do want to get to, including one owner that thinks winning doesn't matter, and one player that maybe didn't watch Sunday's hockey game that maybe I wished he did. I'll explain next.
Before we go to break, though.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's
give
do
away
this.
some tickets. Why
Okay,
not?
so I've been mentioning on the YouTube stream, since I'm not in studio, Chris is posting oh, wow, I didn't see that picture. Wow, okay. He's naked. Oh, don't get that impression if you're thinking. But we've been posting, Chris has been putting up pictures in my seat in the studio since I'm not there. And there's been a theme. So if you've been watching or popping in and out of the stream, there's a theme to what the picture is. He changes every segment. And that's a famous one right there. You'd agree, right? One of the more famous characters right there?
Absolutely.
So what do we want to do? Reward it for somebody that, post the name of the character or any of the characters, or what? What do you want to do?
I would like to see how long people have been paying attention, because maybe you're not listening.
Oh.
Maybe you're not watching on the stream, but we have mentioned the first character that was put up. What was the first picture that I put up?
It's not really a character.
Okay, what
was the first picture?
What was the first picture that I put up in the stream? And again,
Okay.
you've mentioned it on air. I've mentioned it.
That's true. Yeah. Which is the only one that's not the theme of the other pictures that we put up. But
Correct.
Chris will keep posting pictures. 50857 to win the tickets. If you know what was the first picture that Chris put up, And it's Double Shot Tuesday. Today's theme, songs about being on the road, since I've been on the road for 5 days. We'll come back on the mark, off the mark in about 20 minutes. More to come on the Beat of Sports. See, Chris, fun, energetic. Double Shot Tuesday theme songs about on the road. Energetic. Not fast car. Depressing.
Can
All
I
right,
actually tell you a quick story about Fast Car?
Is it going to be depressing?
No, not at all.
All right.
So I had a friend of mine. He lives in Tennessee now, but he lived up in Boston, and he had asked me to drive a car. He paid me well for it, but he had me drive a car. Did not have any like Bluetooth connections or anything like that from Orlando to Boston, where he was living at the time. So I drove from Orlando to Boston by myself, no Bluetooth, no anything. And I swear to God, I heard that song Fast Car maybe 500 times. Every single state I'm going through, that was the song.
So you had the radio.
Yes.
Was it when the song was popular?
I don't know when it was popular, but this was maybe 4 years ago.
So that would, well, okay, that's not her original version. That's when he did the version of her song.
Well, I no lie, at least 500 times through every single state, going all the way up to Boston.
You could change the station, Chris. Did you know that?
Every single station had it on.
All right.
Couldn't get away from it.
All right. You know, I take your word for it. Two things caught my attention recently. Artie Moreno owns the Angels. Okay. And remember when Mark Cuban made the comment about tanking and fans, and he said fans care about their game experience more. You know, they don't remember necessarily who won or lost and everything. And I think you'll agree. I don't argue that some fans, for example, if you go to an Orlando Magic game, Chris, I think you'll agree. There's some people that are there to see a basketball game, to see the best players in the world play, to root for their favorite team if you're a Magic fan, and to watch the basketball game. There's a mix of fans that go there to be seen. They may have a good seat, and they're constantly on their phone or taking pictures or posting something on a social media platform. There's other people that are there with their family and realize that, hey, we're here to make sure the kids have fun. So it's going to be about the popcorn and the food and walking around. That arena's made up of a different group of fans, right? I mean, not everybody's there to now. You would hope if you're in a playoff game or it's an important game that the overwhelming majority of people, which I think, and I'm making up a number here, let's say 60% of the people that go to a Magic game are there to watch the Magic play, hope they win, and they're into the game. But there's people that go there just to have fun and be seen. A lot of people go enjoy the suites, and the basketball game just happens to be going on. They'd rather eat or drink. So I think when Cuban made reference to that, I understand where he's coming from. And I think, well, I know you agree with me, Chris, there's nothing worse than you're at a game and there's a key moment of the game and you look around, there are people that aren't even paying attention. They're just on their phone.
Yes.
Like, why are you here then? You know, okay. So Artie Moreno, who's taken a lot of heat from Angels fans, the few left, and considering Shohei Ohtani went down the road to play for the Dodgers, and Moreno's known as a bad owner. Just, he's not a very good owner. So he claims in a survey, which, by the way, media followed up asking, what survey are you talking about? And even the Angels didn't even respond when asked about what survey. But he told reporters on Friday, so the number one thing fans want is affordability. They want affordability. They want safety. They want a good experience when they come to the ballpark. Believe it or not, winning is not in their top 5. And that's what you're laughing. What are you laughing?
Okay, sure. Winning's not in the top 5. Go ahead.
No. So, one, the fact that an owner says that, you can go, okay, if he has a track record of winning, it's one thing. But the Angels have not been very good. And he's not a popular owner. It's just, sometimes you got to know the room. I don't think he cares about the room because he has so much money. He's like, yeah, whatever. And what drives me crazy about owners like that is, and I wish it applied for other cities where owners often complain about, well, we're small market, then sell the team. Then sell the team so somebody else who thinks they can do a better job and maybe spend more money comes in and does that. Like, don't always fall back on a small market, we can't afford it, then sell the team. But the reason why these teams don't get sold is the appreciation over years. It's part of a portfolio. And if Artie Moreno sold the Angels tomorrow, he would make, I'd have to go back and look, maybe 20x of what he paid for the team. But do you believe when an owner said, yeah, winning's not in the top 5? Like, dude, you got to step back and read the room. Like, you can sell me on affordability. I got to be smart how much I charge. Fans need to know they come to our place that it's safe and so it's a secure area.
Right.
Have a good experience. I mean, all those things are true.
Yes.
But you can't go, yeah, but winning, it's not even in the top 5. Like, come on, man. You can't say that. You just can't say that to your fan base.
That's like a slap in the face to your fans, especially your season ticket holders who eventually want to see the team win. I mean, for as great as Mike Trout has been, for as great as Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani were together, they never won a playoff game. They never won a playoff series. You mean to tell me that fans don't care about that?
Well, he should look around when he gets to the dog days of summer and wonder why there's 8,000 people at an Angels game, because if the team's not competitive, hey, Artie, you know what? If that was the case, then you should have a full ballpark all the time. If it's about affordability, safety, and a game to experience, if you're doing all of that, then the record really shouldn't matter. But the Angels don't lead Major League Baseball in attendance. Speaking of baseball, I don't know why this bothered me, Chris. And yet I think I do know why it bothers me. Okay. So we come off the Olympic moment on Sunday and you see what it meant. Chris, you're not a hockey guy at all. I mean, you acknowledge that, right? You're not a hockey guy.
Yes, I acknowledge
that. But you can appreciate what happened on Sunday, right? And it's the beauty of sports. What sports can do to unify people that are on opposite sides of issues that they created themselves. I said this yesterday when I was out at my tuck. Most of our problems in this country we create because we choose division. But sports can bring us together. And here's a moment on Sunday that doesn't fix all the issues, but here's a moment on Sunday. It's Sunday morning across America. And the Olympic hockey team wins, and it's okay to have a sense of pride. It's okay to love your country, even though you think we've got issues and all that stuff. And I guess maybe I want this sport to have what hockey had on Sunday and through that tournament. And maybe the timing's got something to do with it. But the World Baseball Classic is going to begin. It's tough because the calendar. It's happening during spring training. It's not in place of an all-star game and an all-star break, and maybe they should find a way to do it in July, but then you got to shut down the game. And even though hockey shut down the game, how long do you shut down baseball? And I know it's really challenged to do that. And I remember Ohtani versus Trout, the last one, and the drama of that. And I was into that game. And I believe for the first time when I watched the World Baseball Classic that the American team, it meant a little bit more. Previous World Baseball Classics, it was, I don't know. But that one, it felt special. And it felt special because there's Ohtani doing that thing that nobody else can do. And there's Trout that was supposed to be the great American kid. Like, he's the Jack Hughes version that just couldn't stay healthy. And the best pitcher in baseball right now pitches for the Detroit Tigers. Maybe not that many more years, but he pitches for the Detroit Tigers because right now he's not eligible for free agency. But Tarek Skubal says he's going to make one start in the World Baseball Classic. And he said he hopes that everybody understands that he's there for Team USA, but he also has to prepare for the season for the Tigers. And he said he's likely going to make one start, and then that's it. But he says he'd like to come back if the U.S. reaches the finals on March 17th in Miami, because he wants to be there with the guys and hang out with them. And Chris, he's an unbelievable pitcher. Okay, he's great. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. I don't know how to make these guys care, and I hope maybe they watch the hockey team. And the World Baseball Classic is not the Olympics, but I'm in the group that believes the fact that we're going to have the Summer Olympics in LA in 28 without Major League Baseball players is a huge swing and miss, but how do I make these guys have the same pride and care? Like, I want them to care just as much as this. And by the way, there is a team out there that is somewhat the equivalent. The Dominican Republic is loaded. Their team is insane. And by the way, most of the elite Dominican players want to play in the World Baseball Classic. And the U.S. roster is really good. And maybe I'm asking you too much of a pitcher that sees a bigger picture in Major League Baseball. But like, I'd like to look at Scooble and go, wouldn't it be nice to get the ball in the finals and go out there and pitch for the Americans? Like, what if it's the Americans versus the Dominican Republic or Shohei Ohtani's team? Wouldn't you like to be out there to get the ball to pitch in that final? And if you answer no, I want to know why. Why not? Why don't you want to be out there for that?
Yeah, you hope some of this U.S. hockey energy, I mean, the women and the men, you hope some of that energy rubs off on other sports and you want to see them compete and represent their country. And I mean, if that doesn't get like your adrenaline pumping and that doesn't give you the feels to want to go out there, I mean, I get you want to, represent your team, the Detroit Tigers or whoever it is, and you want to be healthy for the season. You want to make sure you get that next contract, make your millions of dollars. But I mean, knowing what Jack Hughes just went through, knowing what Team USA, women and men just went through, that doesn't like get you amped up to want to go and compete against the rest of the world.
Look, the U.S. is the favorite, slightly over Japan, and then the Dominican Republic, and then you got some other teams, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, but Japan and the Dominican Republic, they are somewhat of our baseball rivals. And the Four Nations was phenomenal for the NHL. You got that dramatic moment, the fight that started when they first played, and then the Canadians scoring to win. And now this, and like, I want baseball to care. Like, I want these guys to care. I'm grateful that Judge is playing. By the way, the U.S. pitching staff is great, but like a guy like Scoob, I want to go, I'm going to pitch once and then let's see how it works. And man, if I get a chance to get that ball in Game 7, like, I want him to say, and if I don't start, if they need me to come to strike Ohtani out in the ninth, I'm all in. Like, I want that. And he said, yeah, I'll make one start. And then I'd love to come back and get a ticket and be there or hang out with the guys in the dugout. I'm like, no, wrong answer.
Well,
wrong answer.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he goes out, has that one start, and just, again, being in that moment, maybe that changes his mind. Maybe he's like, oh, man, this is awesome.
I hope so. I want the World Baseball Classic to become something like this. They tried. They put out a few rosters that weren't very good. This roster is really good. Judges there, it matters to some of these guys, and I hope we get something electric, and I hope that these guys have the same passion for it. And, it's embarrassing in 28 that we're not playing Olympic baseball.
Can I ask you something real quick?
It's just embarrassing, yeah.
Does the U.S. and baseball, like you mentioned the DR, Dominican Republic, and Japan being their big rivals, are those rivalries as big as U.S., Canada, and hockey?
No.
See, maybe that's why they don't care as much. Maybe I don't know how you get it to mean as much to be as big as U.S., Canada, and hockey, but maybe that's why they don't have that same juice that the hockey.
The U.S. Even though, I mean, the U.S. Canada thing, it has it's so many layers on top of it because it's Canada's dominant sport. It's their football. And when we beat them, it resonates throughout the nation. Believe me. The World Baseball Classic to Japan and the Dominican Republic and to Puerto Rico, but to Japan, Dominican Republic, this is massive. It's massive to them. And they take great country pride. And we do when the Americans win. I hope our players are the same type of passion and it comes out of what we just watch in hockey. We'll do on the mark, off the mark. We come back. Did we get winners, by the way, for our tickets?
We did. Okay. It was a stick figure to open up the show, if you guys were wondering.
And what do we have here? Oh, Marvin the Martian.
Marvin the Martian, baby.
Wow. All right. On the mark, off the mark next. Today's theme on Double Shot Tuesday, songs about being on the road. Chris, I was disappointed
And
happy, but sad at the same time.
a lot of mixed emotions here.
Yeah. By the way, the Roadrunner sign is up now on my seat back of the studio. We have had a theme of Looney Tune characters.
I wasn't even thinking we should have printed out Wile E. Coyote too.
Well, that's been the theme this morning, putting up on my chair in the studio since I'm out in Provo, Utah. So it's been a running theme. Hopefully some of you caught on to that. But our theme on Double Shot Tuesday, songs about being on the road. But there was a little bit of rumor out there that Steve Perry was thinking about reuniting with the boys.
Mm.
You know, because there's a, you know, once they replaced him, they became a cover band, is what they were. And I thought, oh, this would be interesting. And then Steve Perry put out a statement and said, thank you for the wonderful comments about the great memories and music created. But those rumors are not true. I'm not coming back. I'm working on other projects right now, so that won't be happening. And it just solidified to me that there is only one journey. It's the journey with Steve Perry. So there you go.
Punch to the gut.
Yeah, let's get down on the mark, off the mark.
It's a Tuesday staple on the beat of sports. On the mark, off the mark. Presented by Bowegan's Beer Company. Bowegan's, recrafting perceptions.
All right. I try to avoid Dallas Cowboys topics. You know, not trying to be a homer, but something's bugging me here, Mark. The big decision in Dallas is whether the team will reach a long-term agreement with George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb is the third highest paid wide receiver, while Dak Prescott is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. The team just re-signed Javonte Williams, and they also have a decision to make regarding kicker Brandon Aubrey, while needing a ton of help on the defensive side of the ball. There are talks of the team having Pickens either play on the franchise tag this year or maybe even trading him. I'm obviously not an NFL GM or a money guy, but would I be on the mark or off the mark for being confused as to why this is such a difficult decision for the Cowboys? You brought him in to help the offense. He did. Why not pay him?
Okay. So I think you're off the mark because I don't think the Cowboys want to give him money that makes him one of the highest paid receivers of the game. I think they think it's better to not commit long term and just tag him, and we'll worry about it next year.
But you brought him in to help the offense. Did he not do that?
Look, they're taking a gamble here because I think what they're saying is, hey, you know, we can tag him. The question is, are you going to get a happy George Pickens or a malcontent George Pickens? And that's the gamble that the Cowboys, it appears like, are playing right now.
It just makes no sense. You gave up a third round pick to bring in a guy to, again, help the offense. The defense was atrocious. I get that. But Pickens exceeded expectations in every single way. And yes, he had the moment in Detroit where it just looked like he didn't care. But other than that, I mean, it was career highs across the board. Like, did you not expect him to perform that well? Or like, I don't understand what the deal is.
Doesn't Jerry need a guy every year that takes him into the summer? They did it with Micah Parsons, and he ended up pulling the trigger on a deal there. I think he loves the attention that you and I often talk about.
All right. Sticking with the NFL Combine is upon us. Once again, we use this time to watch college football players running drills in tights with no opposition. We care about what they bench, et cetera, et cetera. We care about how big their hands are. One guy that won't be at the Combine is Fernando Mendoza, the presumed number one pick. While he won't be at the Combine, he will be at his pro day to help showcase some of his past catchers, according to Adam Schefter. While I understand there are a lot of lower level prospects and backups, third stringers, guys who use the Combine to put themselves on teams' radars, am I on the mark or off the mark for thinking that it is ridiculous to base a multi-million-dollar decision based off of one performance/interview?
Well, you're on the mark there. But I do think it's the media and the NFL media that makes a bigger deal. I don't believe for a second that most NFL, the majority of NFL teams, the well-run organizations, put so much emphasis on the combine. And the combine is like the final interview, or it's a data point. I think game film doesn't lie. I think teams use more of the interview process here to get more out of it. I don't think teams make a big deal unless a guy jumps off the chart and runs a 4.21 that you think he was going to run a 4.5. I think we, the fans and media, made a bigger deal about this. I don't think NFL teams really do.
I mean, we've seen, and may he rest in peace, the late Al Davis. I mean, he just fell in love with guys 40 times. Like, I think Darius Hayward Bay was one of those guys that he just absolutely loved. And, you know, you want to run a fast 40, great. You know, we all made a big deal about Xavier Worthy. Is Xavier Worthy all that good? I mean, he can run fast, but, I mean, is it worth it?
Again, I think the majority of well-run organizations don't make a big deal about it.
All right. Got time for one more here. In his first 34 games with the Orlando Magic, Desmond Bane had 4 30-point performances and 6 games with less than 10 points. In the 22 games since the calendar turned to 2026, Bane has 5 30-point outings, including 3 in his last 4 games. His three-point shooting has increased every single month, going from 25 to 34.3 to 38 to 40.3%, then to 50.9% in the month of February. The Magic have had their issues with injuries all season, but would I be on the mark or off the mark for believing that Bane's improved shooting and scoring will be enough to lead the Magic out of the first round of the NBA playoffs at the very least?
I think Desmond Bane's been really, really good. He's given everything the Magic wanted, plus his durability is available every game, but one guy's not going to win a playoff series or the playoff or the play-in round. He's going to be a key part of it. Magic fans are also going to want the playoff paddle that you've gotten, which has been better than the regular season guy, and more of a half-court style game will help. So Bane is a factor. I don't know if he can single-handedly carry them, though. You got one more? Do one more quickly.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. One more quickly.
All right, one more. ESPN had an article up in regards to agents in college and high school football. I got a lot here written, but one of the excerpts, quote, the NFL's and NBA's Players Association require that their agents pay a registration fee, have a college degree, undergo a background check, and pass an exam. I hate seeing all of these kids in high school and college getting scammed out of money, out of what they've worked very hard for. So I'm going to ask you, Mark, A, am I on the mark or off the mark for believing that high school players should not have an agent, even in a pay-for-play world? And B, the NCAA should require athletes to find the right sort of representation, and if no certified agent will represent them, then go without an agent.
Elite high school players need smart representation, looks out for the best interests. At the college level, this story is a joke because the majority of college football and basketball coaches do not want street agents to go away because street agents help them illegally tamper and recruit. So on the surface, so it's like, oh my God, we got to get rid of this. Coaches want it. They don't necessarily like working with sleazy street agents, but they know sometimes it's the key to get players, and they're being two-faced about this because they work with those guys every single day.
Mark, can we talk about this off air and we can do it on the stream as well? I got some questions.
Sure. I'll do a brief overtime with you.
All right. That was on the mark, off the mark.
Come back. We'll put a wrap on the show next.
Okay, yes, I realize I haven't changed Roadrunner yet, but we are on the stream. Hello. Mark, you got me? Mark? Maybe we can't do it now. Stand by.
Time for the latest news, gossip, trends, and off-the-wall stories. Trends.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
A couple of programming reminders. We got UCF basketball tonight. They play out here in Provo against BYU at 11 o'clock Eastern start. I don't recall any game other than the football game I did in Hawaii in 95 that started at 2 a.m. Eastern. I don't recall any game starting as late as this one in my 31 years. But 9 o'clock local, UCF against 19th ranked BYU with H.A. DePonsta. If he's not the number one pick of the draft, he'll be the number 2 pick in the draft. Magic and the Lakers tonight will be in 104.5 The Beat. That tips at 10:30. And pregame begins at 11 o'clock there. So are we going to try to do something on the stream afterwards, Chris? Are we going to try to pull it off?
Yeah, I think I know what the issue was with not being able to do it while we're on air. But once we go to Fox, stick around on the stream. We'll be able to chat it up after the show.
Okay, so we'll do that for a little bit, even though I'm not in Provo. But we'll do a little bit of the live stream, just a little bit. Chris has a neck injury. He slept awkward, so he's in pain.
I'm playing through the pain, though.
Are you going to be wearing a neck brace tomorrow?
I'm not trying to sue anybody, so no, I'm good.
All right. If you miss any of today's program, you can go where you get your favorite podcast and type in the Beat of Sports on Demand. You get access to the entire show, and there you can subscribe and download and listen when it's convenient for you. Of course, you can always check out the YouTube stream where the shows are posted as well. You can go back and watch the shows. You could see the rotating pictures we put up today since I'm not in studio and have some fun with that. We always appreciate the time that you make to spend with us. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Chris Vasquez produced. I'm Marc Daniels. See you tomorrow for the Beat of Sports.
All right, Mark, you got me?
I hear you. Do you have me?
All righty, that's how we do it.
Okay. So we're on the stream? Is this like overtime?
Yeah, Beat of Sports Overtime on the stream.
Wait, the Tasmanian Devil is a picture that's up right now?
That is correct.
I like that. Like that.
All right.
All
So
right.
I wanted to ask you, getting back to this last point in on the mark, off the mark. You think elite high school football players should have agents?
Yes.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Okay, here's why. Because whether you like it or not, this is what's happened. Okay. Most 5-star players are getting flooded by the following. Okay. Street agents, real agents, college coaches, college coordinators, all sorts of people, as well as people that are throwing dollars at them to, hey, go on Instagram and here's our product and do our pitch. What those people are now doing is hopefully they're hiring smart legal people to represent them. And believe it or not, Chris, even developing a team that if you know you're going to be the guy that everybody wants because you are being presented offers. You may not like it, but there are high school players that are getting legitimate, and I say NIL, endorsement opportunities, or even you may not like it, even being paid to go play high school football. It's why we see so many of these 5-star kids that change high schools. Is it right? It's not right to the way you and I went to high school, but as long as this is the system that exists, why would you not have proper representation? Because by the time you get to college, you're a brand. Not everybody is an Arch Manning, but there are a lot of athletes that know this is a time to begin to make money. So why should you not have proper representation?
So then at what point do we draw the line? Like, are we going to have agents going to middle schoolers?
So I brought that up. No. Listen, I brought the NIL thing up when people talk about high school and how states ran to change the NIL rules because they felt like it was going to be used against them in recruiting. So I said, well, how far does it go? Are we going to have it? And it's funny, when we talked about this during the summer, I got a couple of really smart emails of parents, and I'm not going to share names because I've actually become at least email friends back and forth. But there's a dad who has I'm not going to give an age, has a young daughter, okay, that plays tennis. Okay, that plays tennis. They were approached before she turned 11 because of her talent level. They were approached about endorsement opportunities so that when she would go to these youth tournaments to wear certain merchandise and endorse certain brands to be paid money. And he said, why would we not take advantage of that, which they went out and hired an attorney to represent them for all of the opportunities that they got, okay, and to begin to benefit from that. As he said, yeah, she'll probably get a tennis scholarship, or if she turns pro, why would they not do that? See, we only take a look and complain about it for football, to basketball, things like that. We don't have a problem with the golfer or the tennis player who's approached at the age of 11, 12, 13, 14.
Oh, it's completely asinine to approach an 11-year-old. Like, what are we doing? It's asinine.
Listen, Chris, I'm telling you, that father's daughter now is a teenager, and she has X number of social media followers and is a little bit of an influencer, and he has shared some of the dollars that they have benefited from, and as he said, would will easily pay for any college education that she wants and has put her in position that when tennis is done, which could happen anytime with an injury, she's at least set to have a financial foundation. How can you criticize that? How can you criticize that? The problem that we do is we look at a football player and we compare it differently and go, oh, well, you know, this 15-year-old kid shouldn't have representation. He should have good representation so that when you – now, the percentage of players that get approached, it's probably in high school, it's probably less than 1%. Okay, but those that do, why would we not want them to have proper representation?
No, I just have an issue going after not even a teenager.
But Chris, do you know in just Central Florida alone, and you know, we cover high school sports to some degree. Do you know what goes on in some of the stuff of recruiting a kid to go from one high school to another? I mean, you know, First Academy got hit hard, and some would argue that they were hit too hard. I would argue that it was fair. But there are public schools and private schools whose coaches go out and work out a deal to have the player transfer, to get the dad a job or to get the mom a job or to make sure that they get a truck and car. And you're like, at what extent to win high school football games? And I'm not telling you it's right. I'm just telling you it happens. And it's disgusting, but it happens. The problem is, how do you police it? Because like you said, well, don't you want the NCAA to do what? What you hope is that you would want anybody that's going to represent a NCAA sanctioned athlete has to be registered. Okay. And I would agree that you want that oversight. Here's the problem, though, like I told you on air on the radio show. Football, basketball coaches, they don't like working with the sleazeball street agent, but they have to, and they need to, because they want access to some of these players. So they don't want regulation. I mean, they talk a good game, but they don't really want total regulation. And you can't police it, just like you can't police tampering. So we're asking for the equivalent of everybody on the Florida Turnpike today that goes above the speed limit should get a ticket. It's impossible. We don't have the resources to do it. It's the same deal in college sports. We don't have the resources to enforce what we think are basic rules as well. But let me ask you this one question before we finish up here, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's say your lovely daughter develops a passion to play, give me a sport.
Let's say soccer.
Okay. So let's say she develops a passion to play soccer. Mm-hmm. And by the time that she's 10, you know, forget anybody else, you know that she is the best on any team she plays on. Okay? Mm-hmm. And somebody comes to you and your lovely wife and says, look, we'd like your daughter to play on our travel team. And then you say, well, I've heard your travel team costs like $5,000 a year. And they say, no, we're going to waive it because your daughter's so special. And by the way, we'll let you guys travel with the team and we'll cover your hotel expense. All you need to do is cover your food, but we'll cover your travel. Are you going to turn that down?
Probably not.
Then you're just like everybody else, because here's what happens next. When your daughter's 12 or 13 and plays the next elite team and someone comes along and says, hey, we'd like you to come play here. And by the way, how about if your daughter wears these workout clothes when she's practicing and you guys are on social media, so could she possibly post something and we'll give you $10,000 for it? Are you going to turn that down?
I guess
probably not.
I would probably leave it up to my daughter.
And I'd like to think as a good father you would do that, but if she came and said, Dad, I want to do it, you'd have a hard time saying no, right? That's the problem.
We would be doing due diligence.
Right. The problem is, I don't think we have an issue with those type of athletes. We have an issue with the dirty street agent that misleads a family and takes them down a dark path and then makes them sign these ridiculous deals that are for life, that you owe them X amount of percent. And that's the problem that is out there. And I don't know how you police that. I don't know how you stop it, because there's always going to be sleazeballs that want to take advantage of people out there. So there you go.
I mean,
But when your daughter's a World Cup star, I'd like to get a piece of that pie as well. You know?
I just hate that we're going, like, kids can't be kids anymore. Kids can't be kids.
Yeah,
everything's got to be about social media and followers and hits. Like, it's ridiculous. I hate
kids can be kids.
No,
it's
they
parents.
can't.
No. The majority of kids can be kids. It's parents that lose a sense of reality, that think their kid can be something when most of them never become what their parents want them to be. And, you know, we've had people on our show, you've done the show long enough, that are the first to tell you that. You know, it's the parent that pushes the kid into a world that they may not be ready for or may not be successful at. But parents have dreams to ride the coattails of their kids, and that's often what leads them down a bad path as well. Anyway, all right, that's it for the overtime. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.
Fire Jerry.